Tasty Sugar Crush.
What a great deal you might think when you get one of those free-to-download mobile games, but very often the free turns into a big rip-off later. The games are trying to trick you into spending large sums for in-game purchases. Who's giving in to that and why? Let's take a look. If you want to play some of the best football stars in FIFA Ultimate Team, you better be willing to spend some cash. In this mode, you have to collect virtual trading cards, but you don't always know which ones you're going to get. This is a classic example of a loot box, a mystery selection of random rewards that can include playable characters or weapons.
As with gambling, with a loot box, you have to, spend some money and you don't know what you're going to get or how valuable it's going to be. And sometimes it might be essentially worthless to something that's super rare, highly desirable and so on. So in terms of the uncertainty about what you're going to get and the outlay of money, that's parallel with gambling.
Whether loot boxes are considered gambling is legally disputed. Countries around the world regulate them differently. China prohibited the sale to anyone under 18. Australia wants to rate all games that have loot boxes 18+. The Netherlands and Belgium have banned them completely.
You've got this generation of anticipation. So if you buy a loot box or a loot pack or a crate or whatever, it doesn't just immediately flash up on screen, here's what you've got. There'll be a building of tension and there'll be, maybe sometimes there'll be lights, there'll be animations, sometimes there might be haptic kind of feedback through the controller to kind of generate this build up. There might be little clues, like a certain colour might flash up and you think, okay, I'm going to get something legendary, I'm going to get something rare and valuable. That's another tactic that would encourage people who enjoy that excitement to make more purchases.
In 2020, the gaming industry earned $15 billion by selling loot boxes. That's 1/10 of the overall industry revenue of about $160 billion. Monetization of in-game items has come a long way since the infamous golden horse armor in Elder Scrolls Oblivion. That only cost about $2 at the time. Nowadays, nobody cares two hoots about these so-called microtransactions. Today, users can spend $40 on a Pikachu Christmas outfit, and in the space simulator Star Citizen, a starship pack was sold for $40,000. Monetization reaches a critical point when you have to spend real money to get gameplay advantages. That's called pay to win. Most game developers have been avoiding such mechanics after what happened in 2017 with the game Star Wars Battlefront 2. Publisher Electronic Arts wanted fans to pay for character enhancements. After a huge outrage in the gaming community, EA had to backtrack. Players could now also get those enhancements without paying. Paid content follows simple psychological mechanisms.
The game gets established and that's being very rewarding, and then suddenly there's an obstacle stopping you doing that, and then there's a way to remove that obstacle by spending a bit of money, making a microtransaction, getting a more kind of powerful weapon, or getting whatever it is that gets you past that block.
The compulsion loop. Most games are designed to keep you deeply invested, and that concept carries over to in-game payments. There's a risk of people spending money on digital items uncontrollably. Big spenders are called whales. They tend to spend more than $100 a month on loot boxes.
The people that we spoke to, there certainly were some people that had felt that it had been a harmful activity for them. The more highly someone scores on, say, a measure of symptoms of problematic gambling, the more likely, on average, they are to spend a lot of money on loot boxes.
Fear of missing out, FOMO, by shortening the supply of rare items and making them available only for a limited time, some players are more likely to spend cash to not miss out. Kids and young adults may be particularly susceptible. According to a study, 40% of British children that play video games have bought loot boxes. However, monetization in games is not an inherently bad thing. Microtransactions make the huge market for free-to-play mobile games possible in the first place. Take Clash of Clans, for example, an extremely popular mobile online strategy game. You're building your own village and train troops, and if you're impatient and want to progress faster, you can pay for that. It makes a huge difference whether paid content is offered in games that are free to download or in full-priced games that cost about $70 to begin with.
I would struggle to say one way or the other, are they good or bad? I think it's a mixed bag. If someone feels in control of what they're spending and they find it enjoyable and they want to buy them, what we need to do is make sure that if someone's not in that position and they do struggle, what tools can be made available. Things from online gambling, people can set limits, or they can kind of freeze themselves out of their accounts, or they can say, I only want to be able to spend this amount on any given day or week, and so on.
It's not clear yet where the path for in-game monetization is leading, but one thing's for sure, pressure works. EA has toned down their loot box system in FIFA Ultimate Team after accusation it resembled gambling mechanics. These days, players in FIFA Ultimate Team can see the contents of some virtual card packs before they get to choose whether to buy them.